This is my day 4, 5, and 6 in the life of the Google Pixel 8a. So far so good with this phone. I love the battery life, surprisingly. I never thought I would say that about Pixel phone, but this one is pretty good. The biggest issue I have with the Pixel 8a is my charging port broke ever since day 1 and I have no idea why. I checked the settings just to make sure nothing is toggled up. I couldn't find anything. For whatever reason, when I connect the cable, it just does not register at all. Biggest mystery ever, but what can you do at this point? At least it does have wireless charging, so I've just been using that as my primary source of charging, even though it is only 7.5 watts. Still better than nothing. I leave it overnight to charge it up to 100%, but that has been my biggest gripe with this phone. So I'm gonna walk you through day 4, see how the experience has been. Sunday morning, woke up at roughly 5:30 a.m. Today I went to a 1-year-old birthday party. At day from here onward, just gonna be attending all kids' birthday party. Just in that stage of my life, I guess. Driving back and forth, I have wireless Android Auto on as I'm driving, roughly 30 minutes each way. By nighttime, 9:20 p.m., we are at 48%. I played some Pokemon trading card game, and I pretty much had this phone on a wireless charger all day before I left my house. The party was at roughly 4 p.m. I was nervous I wouldn't have enough battery to take pictures, so I wanted to make sure I was at 100% before leaving the house, and I know I can't charge this phone on the road. Wireless charging does not work well in my car because it causes a lot of heat, so no wireless charging in the car. I can only wireless charge at home. But anyways, I still had enough juice to make it through the rest of the night. I left it on the charger to make sure it is 100% for the next morning on day 5. But before jumping to that, just want to give a quick shout out to my partner Mint Mobile. Currently they offer 5G plan for as low as $15 a month. You get unlimited data, talk, and text. It is a limited time offer. You do have to buy 3 months up front. Overall, it is a great deal, so make sure to check them out. Link in the description below. So some of the things I like about this phone, I guess not specific to the Pixel 8, but for Android in general, I do like that in the Google search bar. In YouTube, you can change the languages. For me, if I'm looking for Vietnamese music, I can change the language to search in Vietnamese. Vâng Trăng Khóc. And just makes life a little bit easier. If I find a cool song that I suddenly remember from 10 years ago, I just say it in Vietnamese and then it'll show up in the search just like that. Otherwise, I would need to say it in English, which is counterintuitive. But it's kind of cool that you can do that these days, and technology have advanced a long way just in terms of voice recognition. But in terms of some of the things I don't like about the Google Pixel 8a, peak brightness, I can tell it is much darker outside, especially since I have the Galaxy S24. I recently used the OnePlus 12R. I think Google, the screen that it has, the technology can actually go up to 2K, but I don't know, maybe this is a different variant with the 8a compared to the 8 and 8 Pro. So I just did some searching, and it seems like people have done testings as well, and it averaged roughly about 1400 nits peak brightness. The 7a is about 900 nits peak brightness, so it is still a pretty significant bump compared to the 7a, but much lower than the Galaxy S24 and a lot of the modern smartphone these days. In general, I think anything above 1700 is okay, but at 1400 and below, I can tell it is a bit darker. Somewhat harder to see in sunlight as well, so if you're not outside that often, that's okay, but if you are walking around using your phone, it might make a difference, especially if you came from other phones that have really high peak brightness. I enjoy using the video camera on this phone and also the photos as well. The selfie camera, even when I'm outside. I feel like my face is a bit on the darker side. I think it looks nice and realistic. Currently going on the walk in the afternoon. Flies hitting my face. Sun is beaming above my head. And one thing I noticed using the Pixel 8a is when you are outside in peak brightness, sun hitting the back of your head, it is really hard to see the screen. So you kind of take the Galaxy S24, the regular Google Pixel 8, and all those other phones for granted. All those phones are 2000 nits peak brightness. But this phone being much lower, you can actually tell it is darker outside and harder to see. And this is something I haven't experienced in a while. Samsung tend to be a little bit more colorful and playful. It's personal preference there, but both cameras are good. And while using this phone on day 5, I noticed it has some call issue. It might just be a one-time thing, and I guess this can happen with any cell phone. but I was calling my credit card company. They could not hear me for whatever reason. I had to restart my phone. Then everything else worked normally after that. It's still annoying to have to go through all the prompts again, so I ended up using my Galaxy S24 to make the call using Google Voice while my Pixel 8a was restarting. So just something minor I wanted to point out. It could be a one-off thing, but who knows, the charging port was also the one-off thing. So we have all these one-off things start getting stopped by Snorlax. Battery life is pretty reliable, as I mentioned earlier. I find myself using the wireless charging a lot more just because I'm afraid that I can't charge it when I'm out and about since my charging port is broken. So definitely a bummer there. But flash forward to day 6, I started my day at 7 a.m. Today I just took some pictures of my son during breakfast. This is a random guava drink that I had, my new favorite drink from Trader Joe's. And flash forward to nighttime, 53%. Long day at work, low usage. I just plop it back on a wireless charger throughout the day and also overnight. So on day 7, began the day at 6:22 a.m. Just did some shopping today. By noon, my phone is at 86%. So this is the general theme with the Pixel 8a. Pretty good battery under low to moderate usage. It will get you through the day from morning to night, which is what I love to see. When I had the Google Pixel 7 and the 7a, it would usually die around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it will always need to be connected to a charger. So definitely annoying to had to be plugged in all the time throughout the day. But the 8a, that's not the case. You can last a full day under a full charge, so pretty happy there. Alright guys, this wraps up 7 days in life of the Google Pixel 8a. Please check out my prior days if you haven't already. Day 3, day 2, day 1. I'm going to do a final review of this phone and let you know the verdict. I'm going to do some rankings like I usually do in all my other reviews. Let me know if there's any thoughts, questions, anything particularly you want me to cover. Remember to like and subscribe. Appreciate the time as always, and see you guys in the next video.